and welcome to Perspectives on Equity, hosted by Capital One. I'm Elisa Gums, the Executive Managing Editor of Black Enterprise. Perspectives on Equity is our joint video series focused on Black influence in the workplace. Each episode will feature the personal and professional experiences of Black executives, sharing stories of how they're advancing their careers and driving innovation. Today's episode is all about investing in the talent of the future. Joining us are Shedisha Matthias, Capital One's Early Internships Program Manager, and Terrance Bowman, the Director of Diversity, Early Engagement, and Partnerships. They'll explore Capital One's belief in investing early in top Black talent. Shedisha and Terrance, thank you so much for being here today. Shedisha, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself and your role at Capital One.
Sure. My name is Shedisha Matthias, and very excited to be here with you today. I actually come from a management consulting background, so that's what I've done for the majority of my career. But I also had some fun stops at a startup and teaching abroad. But today I actually work in the HR practice at Capital One, and I'm the program manager for the Early Internship Program. I'll talk more about it today, but we focus on investing in Black and Latinx talent very early in their careers.
And in terms of your career path, what brought you to Capital One?
Yeah, actually a recruiter. A headhunter reached out to me and thought my background was very suitable for a position that I would have never applied to. It was really, really interesting. But when I looked at the job description, it was really exciting because I realized throughout my career, I've interacted with people throughout the world, getting to know them, onboarding them, particularly the startup I worked for. And this opportunity gave me the chance to do that with a different population, students. And I remember being an intern myself, and I really wanted to take on this opportunity to usher in that new generation into banking.
Terrance, how about you? What can you tell us about yourself and your role with Capital One?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so I'm actually a newcomer to Capital One. I've been here for approximately 3.5 months. And I am a talent acquisition director here, responsible for diversity, early engagement, and partnerships. And in that role, we're looking at all of our relationships with historically Black colleges and universities, Hispanic serving institutions, thinking about how we're going after early talent engagement. So I have the opportunity to partner with Shedisha quite a bit. And then also our national partnerships and conferences and bringing the best top talent to Capital One across all of our enterprise campus programs.
And what was the path that you took in your career to get to the role that you're in now?
That's such a great question because I've had an untraditional road to leading talent acquisition for Capital One. I actually started my career as a software engineer. I majored in electrical engineering, but gravitated more towards my computer science curriculum. And so I started as a computer science software engineer, consultant, and then traveled quite a bit, building enterprise level software for many different companies, and then ended up going into infrastructure engineering, found my way over into campus recruiting, and then experienced hire recruiting. All along the way, I've had a passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, because from my early days at the University of Delaware, I was one of very few people that looked like me. And so when I got to corporate America, I wanted to help solve the problem of diversity. How could I see more engineers that look like me? Instead of being a part of the problem, I wanted to be a part of the solution. And so most recently, I was leading D&I at a very large financial services institution, and then found my way over to Capital One.
This question is for both of you. Since this episode is all about investing in talent, in your opinion, why should companies invest in their talent? Terrance, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I think about when you ask that question is really reflecting on the fact that employees are a company's greatest asset. And I'm taken back to one of the old adages, you can't pour from an empty cup. And so we think about all the activities that employees are expected to do on a day-to-day basis. We need to make sure that as employees and as employers, as well as managers of people, that we're allowing our employees to invest in themselves personally, professionally, but also that we're taking the time to invest in them as well and provide that space and places and time for them to do it on their own.
Shedisha, as someone who does this work every day, why do you think it's so important for companies to invest in their talent?
Absolutely. So individuals make up companies. And when we think about it, they're going to work 40 hours a week and they're engaging in this environment with a number of people. So it's important for companies to look at those individuals as the lifeblood of the company and to enable them to do their jobs. And in doing so, investing in their growth and helping them develop their career trajectory is very, very important. So I think at this point, it's table stakes. It's not should companies invest, they have to invest because this is the expectation, especially with our growing workforce.
Can you share some of the ways that Capital One has invested in you personally?
Absolutely. So Capital One has a program called Magellan, and it is sponsored through Voices, our Black business resource group. And when I was very new to Capital One, I was personally having some issues with being at a larger company. I just come from a startup. I was just entering human resources. I'd done other things in the past. And Magellan really helped me think about my career trajectory at Capital One, meet people throughout the company, and also build a network that I didn't have. So it made me feel really comfortable going back to my team with even some of the ideas that I discussed with my colleagues in Magellan. It was a 9-month investment. So it was really awesome that my team let me go off each month for a 1-day retreat with my Magellan colleagues. And it was awesome. I still keep in touch with a number of people from Magellan, and I see them as trusted allies at the company.
Terrance, you mentioned earlier that you're a new addition to Capital One. Was their investment in their associates one of the things that attracted you to the organization?
You know, it was absolutely one of the biggest things, a part of my interview process that stood out. You know, everyone I talked to talked about the various programs that Shedisha mentioned in regards to building talent and building the future of talent and investing in future talent. And it's not just programs like that. It's also programs that really invest in you as a person. Across our HR organization, we have a program called Invest in Yourself Day. And that's one time out of the month where you as an HR professional get to do what it is that you need to do to edify your mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so one of my first Invest in Yourself days really made me reflect upon, you know, what was really important for me. And of course, it always ties back to my family. And so I had realized that, you know, I hadn't spent, you know, a lot of time with my sons right before they went back to school. And so I used that Invest in Yourself day to take my sons to the beach, and we did a father-son beach day with their godson and my best friend. And it was such a blast. It was such a way to recharge, refocus, send them back to school, and have me feel, you know, like a great dad. And it's small things like that that show that Capital One is such a great company to work for and really leading the charge in terms of ensuring that employees are really taking care of their mental and physical well-being.
Not everyone is as fortunate to work for a company that clearly cares so much about investing in their employees. For those out there who are already in the workforce who may not be in a position with these type of investment opportunities available to them, what advice could each of you give to our audience? Shedisha?
Absolutely. I think there are a number of ways to do this. So the first one, what you see right behind me, books. I think there's so many amazing books out there that people can read to help them expand their mind, think about what they want to do next. I know when I started my role as a program manager, I actually just started reading about program management because it means something different at so many different companies. Another place, believe it or not, YouTube. There's everything under the sun on YouTube, and typically there's a community associated with a lot of channels, and you can communicate with people in those communities. And last but not least, LinkedIn. Find individuals that are doing what you want to do and reach out to them. not everyone will get back to you, but if you find 10 people that are doing the thing, one of those 10 will likely get back to you. So you can start to have that conversation, figure out what they did to get to where they are, maybe the resources they're using, and build your own curriculum. That's something I do all the time. So if there's something new I want to learn, or if I need a certain level of support, I'll take a piece from YouTube, find someone on LinkedIn, find a book, and just talk to those around me as well.
And Terrance, what's your advice for employees whose companies don't offer them these types of investment opportunities?
And so, putting on my talent acquisition hat, I'm going to keep this really short and sweet. Come and join Capital One. We are hiring across all job families, and we know that we are investing in our employees in the way that you want to be invested in.
I love that so much. Shedisha, you mentioned earlier the internship program that you oversee. Can you tell us more about that?
I was waiting for that moment. So really excited about the early internship program. So with the program, we have an intentional focus on Black and Latinx interns. And we source interns that are really early in their career. So first years and second years in college. And when they come into the program, what's super unique about it is there's a learning component. So that's instructor led. And then another component where they're actually on a real world project. This is something pretty rare in the market to get a combination of both. And Capital One also has amazing internal universities, if you will. We have tech college, we have credit college. So we leverage the breadth of all of our learning and development partners and people that are super passionate about early talent. And they all help us shape and build this program. And we launched it last summer, and we're super excited to continue on this journey.
What kind of impact have you seen so far from the program?
Absolutely. Well, many of the interns are interested in coming back. So that's always talking about talent acquisition. That's always what we want to see. But another thing is the connections that they've made with each other and how that actually helped them feel even more comfortable in the experience. So they're on group projects. So they have support of individuals that are going through the exact same experience that they're going through. And that's been one piece that they've all talked a lot about. The mentorship they've received, not only from our senior leaders, but from each other.
Terrance, you told us earlier that you have a background in campus recruiting, and I know that's part of what you oversee here. Can you share why it's so important to recruit diverse students or to recruit at diverse colleges?
And I think, for me, it's all about being intentional. And so if we're really and truly talking about building the future of talent and building a diverse workforce, you have to start as early as possible. And you have to make sure that you're investing in some of the non-traditional schools the same way you would your core schools. And so one of the biggest aha moments that I've had, and I've shared with some of business leaders across my various organizations, are that, yes, we see tremendous success at core schools, but the reason why we're not seeing the same success from a diversity lens is that the diversity of some of those core schools is not changing. And so if those demographics don't change, how could our results change if we just go to the same core schools? And so that's why at Capital One, we are really truly investing in HBCUs and HSIs more actively to create a mutually beneficial relationship so that we over time can see the benefits of that from an ROI perspective in terms of hiring top talent. But at the same time, what are we doing to impact curriculum, to impact infrastructure and facilities, and to create an equitable experience for those universities that might not have the same endowment, right? That might not have the same corporate investments that other universities might have. And so we're really looking at this from a holistic standpoint to truly bring the best of breed to bear as we form these relationships with our HBCUs and HSIs.
You both have already shared your advice for those already in the workforce. So now we're going to talk to those who are just starting out. What advice would you give current or recent college graduates who are looking to jumpstart their careers or who might be indecisive about what they want to do? Terrance?
That's such a great question. And I wish when I was in college that there were these types of early internship programs like Shedisha was mentioning. But the biggest thing I would say is the time is now. It doesn't matter if this is your first semester as a college student. Companies like Capital One have opportunities for freshmen that can lead to internships or externships or fellowships or anything, right? That is going to give you more opportunity. Try it out. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about your resume not being perfect. Don't worry about not having extensive experience. Highlight those, service industry jobs or the camp counselor jobs that show your leadership and all those great skills that you're bringing to the table. And as you progress, you're going to have more things that you can put on your resume from a hard skills standpoint and from, a leadership perspective at college. But start early, because that's going to build your bench of wealth of knowledge and be able to be more attractive to companies. And, the timeline has pushed up quite a bit. And so if you're in the fall season, that's when you should be looking for an internship or full-time opportunity, right, for the following summer. And so if you're coming to companies in the spring of the following year, they're looking at the next year to recruit for those opportunities. So I would say start early and go as aggressively as possible, but try things, right? Try new things out, things that you're uncomfortable with, run to those things and get the exposure that you want to get out of these experiences.
And Shedisha, what's your advice for the college students?
Absolutely. First, I want to double down on one thing Terrance said, start early. And the other piece is, don't be afraid if the thing is not on your resume. You need the opportunity so you can have more for your resume. Put those service jobs on, as Terrance mentioned, the camp counselor. These are all things that demonstrate leadership. And I have to bring this up because this comes up time and time again. We want to know those things. This is what builds you into you. So don't be afraid of putting those things on your resume. And the other thing I have to say, as I've mentioned before, talk to everyone. You never know who someone knows. Talk to your professors, talk to your fellow classmates even. A lot of our candidates and folks that come and start as interns at Capital One, they learn about our programs word of mouth from other people on campus. So learn about where your classmates spent their summers or what they're thinking about as well. Use those around you and always get on LinkedIn. Again, you never know who has an early opportunity. If you don't see it listed, email someone. Maybe they'll create it just for you. So just continue to reach out to people, talk to those around you, and tell people about what you want.
Is there anything else that either of you would like to share with us today in regard to investing in the talent of the future? Shedisha?
Sure. I think, as I mentioned before, it's table stakes. Every company should be looking to invest in the talent of the future, because that is what will differentiate you from any other company. Young people want to start at companies and they want to grow. They want to come to companies that they know will invest in their learning. They want to feel inspired. So I think this is the direction things are going in. So I expect to see even more robust, exciting learning opportunities at companies all over the world. And then, of course, the other thing is come to Capital One. As Terrance said before, we have all of the things I'm describing at Capital One. So this is a really great place to start your career.
And Terrance will give you the last word.
So I would just like to echo the fact that this is no longer an option, right, for employers to invest in their employees and for employees to invest in themselves. In fact, it is going to be the norm pretty soon, because this is going to be what potential candidates are looking for in employers. It is becoming a competitive advantage for Capital One, but also it's just going to become something that is going to be a game changer. It's going to be a non-starter for those that don't have these capabilities in their organization. And on the flip side, I would say for candidates and for job seekers out there, make sure that you keep this as a priority for yourself. And if it doesn't seem in alignment with, the companies that you're interviewing with, keep looking and be voraciously curious about those opportunities and how you can improve yourself, even if you're still in school, right? Think about some of the online opportunities to learn new skills, whether they be on YouTube or other platforms where you can learn hard skills, or even LinkedIn Learning and things of that nature. Just make sure that you are not just doing what's required of you because you're getting a grade. Go above and beyond so that you can create that full picture and that full package that companies will want to come after.
I think the message is clear that the other companies better get their act together when it comes to investing in their people, or they're going to lose all their great talent to Capital One. Thank you, Shedisha and Terrance, for sharing your perspectives with us today, and to Capital One for bringing us this important discussion. And thank you all for watching. Join us next time for Perspectives on Equity.